The best chest workout chosen by artificial intelligence. Do robots know how to train? If you decide right now to search for the best chest workout, you'll probably find various different sources, each recommending a specific training routine. If you ask the gym instructor, it will probably be a different workout too. Given this, many people are unsure of what's really right or wrong. That's why today I asked artificial intelligence to analyze everything when it comes to chest training: biomechanics, muscle activation, injury risk, and strength curve. You'll see which exercises it chose and why, and I'll also give my personal opinion. Today you'll see if robots really know how to create an efficient chest workout, or if they still have a lot to learn. Before we begin, tell me in the comments your name and how long you've been training. Before I start showing the chosen exercises, I want to explain the prompt I used to consult the AI. I asked it to act as a physical education professional, specialized in hypertrophy, with over 20 years of experience. I requested the best possible chest workout for someone natural and without joint restrictions or injuries. I asked it to tell me the exercises, sets and repetitions, order of execution, intensification techniques, and weekly frequency. I also requested that it explain exactly why each exercise was chosen, aiming for complete chest hypertrophy and which portion of the chest each would target. In other words, I didn't give any specific guidelines. I just asked for the best possible workout with justifications. Now let's see what it chose. Exercise number 1, Incline barbell bench press. The AI started by recommending the Incline barbell bench press as the first exercise of the workout. It suggested performing 4 sets of 6 to 8 repetitions, progressively increasing the load with each set and getting close to muscle failure. The justification was quite interesting. According to artificial intelligence, the clavicular portion of the pectoral, also known as the upper chest, is usually the most underdeveloped region in natural practitioners. The incline barbell bench press, in AI's view, allows greater mechanical overload, which is an essential factor to stimulate hypertrophy. When we talk about muscle hypertrophy, we need to think about the main mechanisms that trigger it, and mechanical tension is one of the most important. The barbell allows you to progressively and safely add more weight, which explains this choice as the first exercise of the workout. As an extra intensification technique, the AI recommended using rest pause in the last set. This means you get close to failure, rest for 15 to 20 seconds, and do a few more repetitions. This technique increases muscle fiber recruitment without the need for external help, making it a valuable strategy for those who train alone. My personal opinion about this choice: the incline bench press is indeed very efficient for working the clavicular region of the chest, which, as the AI correctly pointed out, tends to be less developed in natural athletes. However, I would make one important modification. I would replace the barbell with dumbbells. Dumbbells offer some significant advantages that the AI didn't consider. First, dumbbells allow a greater range of motion, providing a better stretch of the chest fibers. You can descend more deeply, creating more tension in the muscle fibers. Second, dumbbells don't limit you to a fixed trajectory like the barbell, allowing the movement to adapt to your specific body structure. Third, dumbbells significantly reduce stress on the shoulders, decreasing the risk of long-term injury, especially for those with a history of discomfort in the glenohumeral joint. And finally, dumbbells facilitate load progression for many people, as you can increase in smaller increments. For those seeking hypertrophy, this more gradual progression can be ideal for maintaining adequate stimulus without overloading the joints. Exercise number 2, flat dumbbell bench press. For the second exercise of the workout, the AI chose the flat dumbbell bench press, recommending 4 sets of 8 to 10 repetitions. The justification was that this exercise focuses on the middle region of the chest, and the dumbbells provide a greater range of motion when compared to the barbell. This increases the stretch of the pectoral, enhancing the activation of the sternal fibers, which make up the majority of the chest muscle volume. As an extra intensification technique, the AI suggested lowering the dumbbells slowly, controlling the eccentric phase of the movement as much as possible. This is a very intelligent recommendation, as we know that the eccentric phase is responsible for much of the stimulus for hypertrophy. Studies show that controlling the eccentric phase can increase positive muscle damage, stimulating greater adaptation and muscle growth. What makes this exercise particularly valuable is the freedom of movement that dumbbells provide. Unlike the barbell, which forces your arms to follow a fixed trajectory, dumbbells allow you to find the most comfortable and efficient angle for your body structure. This not only maximizes the recruitment of chest fibers, but also reduces unnecessary stress on the joints. My personal opinion, this AI choice was practically perfect. The flat dumbbell bench press is indeed one of the best exercises for chest development. The possibility of lowering the dumbbells with greater amplitude increases the stretch of the muscle fibers, which is crucial for maximizing hypertrophy. Additionally, you can perform a small rotation of the wrists during the movement, which can further increase chest activation. Another positive point is the reduced participation of the triceps when compared to the barbell bench press, which means more focus on chest work. And as I mentioned in the previous exercise, dumbbells allow a more natural adaptation to your bone and joint structure, reducing the risk of discomfort in the shoulders or elbows in the long term. I have nothing to criticize in this choice. I got this exercise exactly right. Exercise number 3, incline dumbbell or machine fly. To finish the first chest workout of the week, the artificial intelligence selected the incline fly, which could be performed with either dumbbells or on a machine. The recommendation was 3 sets of 10 to 12 repetitions. The justification for this choice was the focus on stretching the upper chest fibers and isolated work, reducing triceps participation in the movement. As an intensification technique, the AI recommended using a controlled amplitude without completely bringing the dumbbells together at the top of the movement. This technique maintains constant tension on the chest, which is excellent for stimulating hypertrophy, as it prevents the muscle from resting during the execution of the exercise. The AI's logic here was interesting. After 2 compound exercises that allow greater overload, we finish with an isolation movement that allows specific focus on the chest without so much participation from secondary muscles. Additionally, by choosing the inclined version of the fly, the AI maintains focus on the upper portion of the chest, which, as mentioned earlier, tends to be the least developed region in natural practitioners. My personal opinion, there's a big difference between performing the incline fly with dumbbells or on a machine, and if you usually watch the channel, you probably already know my position on this. The incline dumbbell fly presents some important limitations that the AI didn't adequately consider. The dumbbell fly significantly loses in force vector when you're closing the movement. In the final position, when the arms are approaching, the force of gravity acts practically perpendicular to the direction of movement, drastically reducing tension in the chest precisely at the point where there should be greater contraction. Additionally, the risk of injury is considerably higher with dumbbells. The open position puts the shoulders in a vulnerable situation, especially if you try to achieve a large amplitude to maximize stretch. Many people end up suffering rotator cuff injuries because of this exercise. If you choose to do it on a machine, as the AI suggested as an alternative, it will indeed be a much better choice. The fly machine maintains constant tension throughout the range of motion, thanks to the cable and pulley system. This corrects the force vector problems I mentioned, ensuring that the chest works effectively throughout the entire exercise. The only problem is that not all gyms provide a specific incline fly machine. If your gym doesn't have this equipment, an alternative would be to use the cable fly, adjusting the pulleys to a higher position to simulate the inclined angle. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Having constant access to science-based information is what will help you progress with health in the long term in the world of bodybuilding. Now let's move on to the second chest workout of the week. The AI divided the weekly chest training into 2 days with 3 days of rest between them. So you can do it, for example, Monday and Thursday, Tuesday and Friday, Wednesday and Saturday, and so on. Let's look at the exercises chosen by the AI for the second day. Exercise number 1, decline barbell or machine bench press. The first exercise chosen by the AI for the second chest training day was the decline bench press, recommending 3 sets of 8 to 10 repetitions. Despite being less popular than the flat or incline bench press, artificial intelligence highlighted that this exercise strongly recruits the lower portion of the chest. One of the great advantages mentioned was the reduction of stress on the shoulders, as the declined angle decreases the participation of the anterior deltoid and places the humerus in a more favorable position for the glenohumeral joint. According to the A1, the decline bench press often gives excellent results in natural athletes because it provides a more full chest appearance, developing the base of the muscle that is often neglected. From a biomechanical perspective, the decline bench press puts the chest in an advantageous position to produce force, which generally allows the use of slightly heavier loads compared to the flat or incline bench press. This can represent additional stimulus for hypertrophy, following the principle of progressive overload. My personal opinion, the decline bench press is indeed an interesting exercise and not used as much as it should be. The main reason for its lesser popularity is probably the difficulty of execution and the lack of adequate equipment in many gyms. Performing the decline bench press with a free barbell can be complicated and even dangerous without an assistant, as getting into and out of the starting position is challenging. Additionally, you'll depend on having a machine dedicated to this movement in your gym, because let's face it, doing it with a barbell on a decline bench will be more difficult and often not so practical. For the lower chest region, I personally prefer alternative exercises such as the high pulley crossover or dips on parallel bars. The crossover with the pulleys positioned above the shoulder line provides excellent work for the lower portion, with the advantage of maintaining constant tension throughout the range of motion. Dips on parallel bars are one of the most powerful exercises for this region and also work the triceps as an additional benefit. But I acknowledge that it's not a bad choice if your gym provides the appropriate equipment. If you have access to a Smith machine or a suitable decline bench with barbell supports, it's worth including the decline bench press in your routine occasionally. Exercise number 2, cable crossover. For the second exercise of the second weekly workout, the AI chose the cable crossover, recommending 3 sets of 12 to 15 repetitions. The justification presented was that this exercise allows working the maximum adduction of the chest with constant tension throughout the range of motion, something that is not possible with dumbbells or barbells. And here comes a very interesting point of the recommendation. The AI did not specify a specific height for the pulleys. Instead, it suggested a periodization strategy, where you alternate the height of the pulleys each week. In one week, you perform the exercise with the pulleys in the high position, primarily recruiting the lower portion of the chest. The following week, position the pulleys at medium height, focusing on the central part, and in the third week, use the low position of the pulleys, which more intensely recruits the clavicular region of the chest. This approach is quite sophisticated, as it provides varied stimuli for all portions of the muscle over time, avoiding stagnation and enhancing complete chest development. It's a practical application of the variation principle, fundamental for continued progress in muscle hypertrophy. My personal opinion, although the AI's recommendation is an interesting strategy, and the crossover is a wonderful exercise for the chest and almost indispensable, considering the exercises chosen so far, I would make an important modification. Instead of alternating the height of the pulleys each week, I would place a greater focus on working with the low pulley, aiming to better target the clavicular portion of the chest. As the AI itself mentioned at the beginning, this is the most difficult region to develop in natural practitioners, so giving greater emphasis to this area is not a bad idea. However, I would suggest a small technical adaptation. Instead of positioning the pulley completely at the bottom, place it at knee height. This intermediate position allows for a more comfortable and safer execution for the shoulders. Additionally, during the movement, it's important to perform not just the horizontal adduction movement, but also a slight upward component. Imagine that you're pulling the cables not just to the center, but also slightly upward, as if you were drawing a diagonal arc. This technique significantly reduces the activation of the anterior deltoid and concentrates more tension in the clavicular region we want to develop. The crossover is an exercise that allows a lot of variation and fine-tuning, so experiment with different pulley positions and movement trajectories to discover what generates the greatest sensation of work in your chest. Remember that the mind-muscle connection is fundamental for maximizing the results of isolation exercises. Exercise number 3, weighted push-ups. To finish the second chest workout of the week, artificial intelligence chose weighted push-ups. The recommendation was just 2 sets to muscle failure, using external overload such as a weighted vest, weight plates on your back, or even resistance bands. The justification presented was quite interesting. Performing a burnout at the end of the workout generates additional metabolic stress, which is one of the triggering mechanisms of hypertrophy, along with mechanical tension and muscle damage. The accumulation of metabolites during this type of work to failure can enhance the hypertrophic response of the workout as a whole. The push-up is a compound exercise that works not only the chest, but also the triceps and anterior deltoids, in addition to requiring great core stabilization. When we add extra weight, we transform a basic exercise into a powerful hypertrophy stimulator, capable of challenging even advanced practitioners. My personal opinion, the premise of the idea is not bad, and since it's only 2 sets, I believe you can indeed incorporate this exercise at the end of the workout without risk of overtraining. However, there is a very important observation to be made here. Initially, when I consulted the A1, it had recommended all these 6 exercises to be performed on the same training day and repeated twice a week. As you probably already imagine, this would mean an excessive volume of training that could easily lead to overtraining, especially for natural practitioners. For this reason, I guided the AY to divide the protocol into 2 weekly workouts, reducing the volume by half. Considering that this exercise was originally conceived to be the final gas of a workout with 6 exercises, and that we are now working with a lower volume, I would suggest a small adaptation. Instead of weighted push-ups, I would put a flat machine fly here. This exercise provides an excellent stretch of the chest, creating great tension in the muscle in a stretched position, which is fundamental for maximizing hypertrophy. Additionally, being performed on a machine, it allows maintaining constant tension throughout the range of motion and perfectly adjusting the load to get close to muscle failure at the recommended repetitions. The machine fly also offers the advantage of better isolating the chest, reducing the participation of secondary muscles like the triceps, which have already been heavily solicited in previous exercises. This allows continued stimulation of the chest even when the auxiliary muscles are already fatigued, maximizing the stimulus for muscle growth. Although artificial intelligence is still not perfect and doesn't have the practical and empirical knowledge of a professional in the field with years of experience, I was positively surprised by the basic direction it provided. The fundamental concepts are there. Focus on the clavicular region, which is more difficult to develop. Use of compound exercises for overload, variation of angles to work different portions of the chest, and application of intensification techniques to maximize the stimulus. I believe it won't be long before we see entire workouts assembled by artificial intelligence, giving great results, even for athletes. As these systems become more sophisticated and incorporate more practical knowledge and real feedback from coaches and athletes, the quality of recommendations tends to improve significantly. However, I still consider fundamental the role of the human trainer in adapting these general guidelines to the specific needs of each individual, considering factors such as injury history, structural limitations, available equipment, and individual response to training. If you liked this, and also want to discover the 8 main mistakes that most people don't know they're making in chest training, and that unfortunately throw all their effort in the trash, we've left a video appearing right now on the screen showing that. Don't miss it. Thank you for watching this far, and may God bless you, my friend.